Page 31, Gypsy Dance. Well, this looks ugly, don't it? Whew. On page 30, they're introducing you to 16th notes. And what can I say? 16th notes look ugly. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Their mama loves them, I'm sure. You take an 8th note and you cut it in half, you get a 16th note. It just divides every time. And this has 2 beams or 2 flags, whichever. But the point is, there's 2 16th notes to an 8th note. The difference comes when how you count them. Different teachers teach different methods to count 16th notes, and you do whatever your teacher's telling you. See, for regular quarter notes, we simply use a number for each beat. 1, 2, depending on the quarter. Let's pretend this is 2/4 time, because Gypsy Dance is in 2/4 time. We go 1, 2, 1, 2. Those would be quarter notes. 1, 2, 1, 2. Quarter notes. 8th notes, we put an and. I put an and in between the numbers. I'm not the only one. A lot of people do. 1 and 2 and 1. That's the speed of the 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Well, 16th notes, we got to have something in between the number and the number. And I do a 1 E and a. E, 1 E and a. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Hi, 1 E and a 2, like so. 1 E and a 2 E and a, and that's how they're counted. That's how I count them. Other people use different methods and I don't care. They're doing a 1 ah and ah. To me, that's confusing. I do a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Hey, 1 E and a 2. You do it however your teacher tells you to do it. Remember, you're only counting them at first to get the rhythm. Once you have the rhythm, you just feel it. As long as you can feel 2 16th notes in there to an 8th note, you don't even have to count the 1 E and a. You just go 1 and 2 and you play 2 16th notes. For instance, in the middle of page 30, they get this line here with the 16th. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Or you go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. Depending on how fast you're going. Be careful on 16th notes, because they look really ugly and think, oh, good Lord, how fast do these things go? They can go quite quickly, just like anything else. Quarter notes can go quick, but they can also be very slow. Beethoven wrote a lot of his slow movements in his piano sonatas with 16th notes and 32nd notes, but they're so slow, they seem like quarter notes and 8th notes and so forth. So I could take this piece here in the middle of page 30, this, if I go really slow, 1, 2 and 3, 1 E and 2. It depends on the speed of the piece, and 16th notes will tend to slow a piece down because there's so many of them. So don't think just because you see 16th notes it's going to go quick. No, we have to consider the piece and what's in it and the feel of it. So let's look at this dance over here on page 31. It's a page long. It has a DCL fine, so it's longer than that, but there's a page of music to learn. Treble bass clef, 1 sharp in the key signature. We're either in the key of G major or E minor. They're telling you it's in E minor. That's fine. Do the scales for both. G major and E minor. You've heard this lecture before. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. 2 4-time signature, just counting to 2. 8th notes all over the place. We take them slow. Right hand first. 1 E and a 2. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1. Then I want 3rd finger. Well, that's not real convenient, is it? Yuck. I'd rather not. So I'm going to do something different. I want to connect the notes. Now it's really nice to stay in a 5-finger position. That's what they got you doing. I use a little more advanced fingering. I would just take it slow and easy because this fingering will certainly help you later on. And that first, that's fine. But here, I don't want to, here, I'm going to reach up and use 1 4. And then this way I'm going to use 5 for the first one. And then scrunch up. 3 1. Now I'm in position. I just walked my way up. It says, I'm there. Rather than going from here to here, I went from here to here. It's a little more involved, but I'm going to recommend it. Take it slow. You get them as hard anyway, so what's the difference, huh? And anywhere else I get the same passing, we do it the same way. 3. And then for the A, D sharp, Not here, as 2. Saving thumb for the next one. Here, I don't want to use thumb on both. No. Here. And then this next line, that's third finger's okay, it's a repeated note. Crossover. And then they want 4. That's terrible. This is the second line, second and third measure. I don't want to go here. No. So what I'm going to do is, here, instead of that, I'm going to go 4, 5. Now I'm prepared. Now I can go 4. I just did that. Take it slow and easy. Just scrunch up a little bit. Here. And now you're ready. That's what I'm recommending. I know it's a more complicated fingering and you're not used to this, but you need to get used to it because you're going to need it later on. So why not just start it now? Start working on it. Go slow. There's no hurry here. Just take it real. Take it fast because I've been doing this forever. Take it slow. Here. Here. Can you do that? Scrunch up. Relax. You'll do that. Here. Now, third line down to here. Going to the fourth line, just reach down. That's okay. Works out very well. Left hand's got the broken chord. E minor, 1 chord, then go 4 chord, 1 chord. Second line, third measure, 5/7 chord. Third line, we're going to come up here. Now we're in G major. Well, that's different. Now, this is the third line, second measure. You don't want to be up in here, then reach up and do that. I don't know how big your hands are. There. And both of those E's in that measure are flat. Remember, the accidental is good for the rest of the measure. And the last line back in E minor. Okay, let's put the heads together and see what could possibly go wrong here. We're here, and I'll hesitate, but I don't care. It's just here and then here. So you can see how the notes line up between the staves and see how they work out. These are together and these are together. Then here, then here. Reach it 1, 4 in the right hand now. And then here, here. Hands together, and then I'll go back over just a measure or 2 at a time, or a line at a time, I don't know, and work out the hesitations. It depends on how many hesitations you've got. So, but make sure that no hesitation. Go as slow as you do. Just take 2, 2, 1, if that have to go that slow to get them, no hesitations, fine. It doesn't matter how slow you go, but no hesitations. We'll speed it up later. And once the hesitations are gone, I think about the articulation. Staccato is short and flexing at the wrist. I'm on the key and I'm bouncing off. Accent. See, it's the articulation that lets them get away with the fingering they're offering. But again, I do a legato fingering where I connect everything with the fingers first. It's a more trustworthy fingering, especially if you get nervous. You can rely on it to get you through. Where if you've been doing it this way and you start to get nervous, you can miss notes. And then when you miss notes, that throws you off even more. Ugh, been there, done that. Not pleasant. But I add the articulation and the fermata at the end. Just hang on to that for a little bit. If I do it with a metronome, I'll hold the eighth note an extra eighth note. I'll just double it. And then you go back to the beginning. Now, once the articulation is in, then I add the dynamics. MP is mezzo piano, sort of soft. These, very soft. Then you're going to crescendo up toward the end of the line. You're going to go up to about a moderately loud here. Actually go up to about a moderately soft, but the accented notes make those sound moderately loud. The left hand stays very soft. line, you're loud. The left hand in the background. And then come down. The last measure of the second line, moderately loud, loud. Here, louder, each one gets a little loud. Third line, moderately loud, up to loud. Left hand's in the background, soft. Moderately loud, soft. And then you go back to the top. So I have the dynamics. It's better that you get to know it well enough and you're comfortable enough with it where you're not thinking about any mechanical stuff, notes, rhythms, fingering, and all that. And you're feeling the articulation and you're feeling the dynamics. You're getting into the piece. Remember the natural accent? 1, 2, 1, 2. And when you subdivide beats up like this, each beat actually gets a little bit of an accent. So they can feel the 1, 2, like so. Now you know the DC Alfine. The DC takes back to the beginning. The DC, if I could talk. Alfine takes you to Fine. The Fine is at the end of the second line. That's where the thin and thick bar line is. Remember that thin and thick bar line is the symbol for the end of a piece. So that's where it is. So you go back and play the first 2 lines again. Now there is a note above the staff at the beginning. Last time begin slowly and play gradually faster and faster to the end. In other words, you're going to accelerate. But you got to start out slow so you got room to accelerate. And don't accelerate too quickly or you're too fast too soon. You don't really want to be really, really super fast until the last couple measures. So depending on how fast you're going, I don't know how fast you're taking it. It needs to be accurate. It says andante moderato. That's misleading. Boy, is that misleading. That's just a leisure pace. 1, 2. But if they're talking to the beat, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. No. That doesn't feel leisurely. Remember that when they give you a speed for a piece, it's the overall feel of the piece. It's not necessarily the speed of the beat. It might be, but it doesn't have to be. It's the feel of the piece. They want this to feel kind of leisurely. The 16th notes slow it down. And the 8th notes will slow it down a little bit. So the 1, 2, 1 and 2, and 1, 2. I mean, that's really slow. But nevertheless, the feel of it is more of a leisure pace. That's what I'm recommending you do here. Then at the bottom, you get the retard down, not to slow down. And you hang on to that. And then when you go back to the top, now you're going to go slow. Measures or so, we'll speed up just a little bit. A little faster. You experiment with it. Experiment. And think of the left hand. And a little faster. The left hand and it's speeding up, and see if you can get the right hand to keep up. Good luck. It's really the right hand that needs to control it, but I'm feeling, as far as the accelerating goes, I'm feeling the left hand. something like that. I'm sure I would play it different every time I play it. You're experimenting with it and playing around with it, the feeling and the speed and so forth. Just make sure it's accurate. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. Now we can't speed up, the metronome won't speed up. We got to take it all at one speed. And that eighth note, I'm going to hold it an extra eighth note or whatever, and then we'll go on because I got to stay with the metronome. And since there's eighth notes and 16th notes, I'm going to put the metronome on eighth notes. So it's beating eighth note. 1, 2. Those are eighth notes because the 16th notes are twice as fast. Like so. So I'll give us 2 quarter note counts to come in. And we're not doing loud and soft. We're not performing it. We're just checking notes and rhythms. 1 and go and. Go on.